You learned early to stay quiet about your pain, to carry it alone, to smile even when you were breaking. People praised your strength. They said you were independent. They didn't see the cost. You hid your needs to stay safe, to stay loved, to avoid being a burden. Each time you reached out and were ignored, something closed. Each time you were told to toughen up, you buried more. Silence became your shield. You thought strength meant never needing anyone, that needing meant failing, that help meant weakness. So you carried everything. Even what was too heavy, especially what was too heavy. You stopped noticing how much you held. The weight felt normal. The exhaustion felt like your fault. You kept saying, "I'm fine," even when you weren't, especially then. You feared people would see you as fragile, or incapable, or too much, so you became self-contained, closed off, untouched by comfort. Comfort started to feel foreign, unsafe even, like a trick you couldn't trust. You told yourself you didn't need anyone, that you were built for solitude. But part of you knew it wasn't true. Nights felt longer. Loneliness echoed louder. But you stayed silent. Silence was safer than rejection, safer than being misunderstood, safer than being shamed. Shame grew quietly. It told you your needs were wrong, that asking would make people leave. So you stayed invisible, even while aching to be seen, especially then. Became proud of being low maintenance, of never asking much, of disappearing when hurting. But pride didn't soothe the ache. It only buried it deeper. It only made the distance wider. You saw others ask for help. You admired their courage. You wished you could too. But something inside stopped you. A voice said, "Don't be weak. Don't need." That voice wasn't born from truth. It came from old wounds. From a world that punishes softness, you internalized its rules. No tears, no asking. You thought this made you strong. But strength without support breaks. Slowly, quietly, the cracks showed in small ways. Forgetting things, losing joy, feeling detached from people, from yourself, from life. You kept pushing, hoping it would prove you were enough. But the emptiness stayed. You weren't broken. You were lonely and longing. Longing for someone to hold your load, even briefly, even gently. You longed to be known, to be cared for, without earning it first. That longing wasn't weakness. It was human. It was love asking for space. You didn't fail by needing help. You only suffered by denying it, quietly, invisibly. This pain had no witness. So you blamed yourself for being tired, for being overwhelmed, for being human. But needing is not failure. You pause and wonder where this rule came from. The one that said never need? Who taught it to you? Was it someone who also feared being seen? Someone who had to be strong to survive? Someone who didn't know another way? You realize this belief was inherited, passed down like an heirloom? But not all heirlooms need to be kept. You start to ask, what if they were wrong? What if asking was not weakness? What if it was brave? Brave to admit you are human. Brave to risk being seen. Brave to say, I cannot do this alone. Courage is not the absence of need. Courage is moving despite the fear of rejection. Courage is opening your hand instead of clenching it. You imagine what might happen if you asked. Maybe someone would say yes. Maybe they would be glad you trusted them. You remember moments when you helped others. You didn't think they were weak. You felt honored they came to you. Could someone feel that way about you too? Could your reaching out give them purpose? Could help be mutual nourishment? You picture a bridge. Asking is stepping onto it, meeting someone halfway. At first your legs shake. Fear says turn back, but you keep walking. This is what courage looks like. Trembling and moving anyway, choosing connection over isolation. You notice how harsh the word weak has been. It shamed you for being human, but you are not a machine. Machines do not cry. Machines do not heal. You do. Healing sometimes requires witnesses, people who hold your hand as you mend. People who remind you you are not alone. You start to see help as partnership, not pity, not dependency. It is two humans meeting honestly. It's one saying I need, the other saying I'm here. This is how trust is built. Trust does not grow in silence. It grows in shared vulnerability. You consider that asking might make you stronger. Stronger because you no longer carry everything alone. Stronger because you allow care to reach you. You begin to soften toward yourself. You stop calling yourself weak. You start calling yourself brave. Brave for surviving alone this long. Brave for wanting something better. Brave for questioning what you were taught. You remind yourself, needs are not flaws. Needs are signals. They guide you back to wholeness. If your body asks for food, you feed it. If your lungs ask for air, you breathe. So when your heart asks for support, you answer. You stop framing this as failure. You frame it as care. Care is strength. A tree is strong, not because it stands alone, but because its roots are fed by the soil. Support keeps it alive. You are no different. Support keeps you alive too, and asking opens the roots to receive it. The guilt starts to loosen. The shame starts to fade. Something new begins to grow. A belief that says, I am worthy of help. A belief that says, needing does not make me less. A belief that says, connection makes me whole. You start practicing with small asks. A question. A request for company. The world doesn't fall apart. People don't reject you. Some even smile. You feel a strange relief, like a knot loosening. Like a breath you didn't know you were holding. Each ask gets easier. Each answer softens your fear. Each yes builds courage. Courage to ask again. Courage to be seen. Courage to keep connecting. The first time you say yes, your voice shakes. You half expect the world to judge you, but nothing bad happens. The person simply nods. They help with gentle hands, and do not see you as broken. You wait for shame to strike. It does not come, only quiet. You notice your body exhale, shoulders dropping, muscles loosening. It feels unfamiliar, like entering warm water. Hot, like something long denied. Guilt tries to whisper, you are a burden, but the care continues anyway. Their kindness does not falter. Their eyes do not turn away. They seem glad to be here. You wonder how that can be, how giving could bring them joy. Then you remember when you've helped others, you felt useful, connected, alive. You start to see care as a circle, flowing back and forth, not a debt to repay. You were taught love must be earned with strength, earned with silence. But this person gives without asking you to prove anything. They don't ask you to be strong first. They don't ask you to hide your pain. They simply stay. And in their staying, something shifts. You begin to believe you deserve it. You deserve kindness. Even when you are tired. Even when you are not productive. You begin to see worth as not performance. Worth is presence. And presence does not need achievement. Guilt tries again. You owe them now. But they are not keeping score. They offer help like breath. Natural. Free. You start to receive it that way. Without tightening. Without apology. You notice how apologies used to escape your lips? Automatic. Every time someone did something for you. You begin replacing I'm sorry with thank you. And thank you feels softer. It lets the care land. You let their words stay in your chest. You stop batting them away. Stop saying you didn't have to because they chose to. Choice makes it real, not obligation. You start to see receiving as honoring their gift, as trusting their decision, as giving them space to love you. Love is not a transaction. It is presence meeting need. It flows both ways over time. Today it flows toward you. One day it will flow from you again. But today you let it land. You let someone carry part of your weight. Stop gripping everything alone. And your hands feel lighter. Fear still flickers. Fear of being left. Fear of needing too much. But their presence stays steady. Each moment with them builds trust. Trust quiets fear. See how care does not erase your strength, it strengthens you. It gives your strength space to return. Rest in their support feels sacred. Like soil holding a seed. It's nothing forced, only held. You stop seeing receiving as weakness. You see it as balance. It's life breathing in as well as out. You do not lose dignity when you accept care. You gain connection. You gain belonging. Your heart whispers, yes. You let it be held. The holding heals you. You start to notice something gentle in yourself. A pull toward the ones who stayed. Not from duty, but from warmth. Their care planted seeds. Now the seeds want to grow to something shared. You feel less afraid of being close, less guarded, less alone. You used to see connection as risk. Now, it feels like shelter. like soft ground under your feet. You begin asking how they are, and you mean it. You listen without waiting to speak. This is new. You are no longer surviving in silence. You are showing up. You do not rush to fix them. You sit beside their pain, the way they sat with yours. Something opens when pain is witnessed, not erased. It's only seen. Their shoulders drop too. They start to breathe easier. You see your presence helping, not with solutions, but with steadiness. With care you once thought you lacked. You realize care does not come from endless strength. It comes from tenderness. You are being willing to stay. You are learning to stay with them, with yourself. The line between giving and receiving begins to blur. It becomes one circle, care flowing both ways. You notice joy flickering in small moments, a shared laugh, a warm silence. You once feared dependence. Now you see interdependence. Threads tying lives together. Each thread light, yet strong. Strong enough to hold you both. Stronger because they are shared. They tell you you've helped them too. You hesitate to believe it, but their eyes are steady. You realize help does not have to be big. It can be quiet. A gentle word, a steady presence. You used to measure worth in output. Now you see worth in connection. In how you care and let yourself be cared for. They thank you for listening. You thank them for staying. Gratitude hums between you. You see how healing weaves between people. It's not in straight lines, but in circles of care. Some days you still pull back. Fear of being too much returns, but now you tell them. You speak your fear instead of hiding. They hold it gently. It softens. You're learning repair. How connection bends, but does not break. How it strengthens when tended. Trust grows slowly, but it grows, rooting deep. Their presence becomes a steady rhythm. So does yours. To steady rhythms side by side, you start to dream together. Of small joys, of future days. You once thought your pain set you apart. Now you see it as linked you, your shared humanity shining through. You see how care makes room for both strength and softness. How neither cancels the other. How both belong. You are no longer performing strength. You are living connection, honest, mutual. There is no scoreboard, no keeping track, only shared breath. This is what healing together feels like. It's not dramatic, quiet, steady. You once believed you had to carry it all alone. Now you walk beside others, and they walk beside you. What began as two people becomes more. One steady thread reaches another, then another. Small kindnesses ripple outward, hand offered, voice saying, "You're not alone." You see others carrying quiet burdens. They smile through them. It's the way you once did. You pause beside their weight, not to lift it away, but to help them rest. They look surprised at first, then relieved, then open. This is how connection grows, one honest moment at a time, one shared pause. The group forms slowly, no big declaration. It's only quiet consistency. You meet in kitchens and parks, on late-night calls, in tired moments when walls are thin. Each story makes the air softer. Each laugh eases the weight. Each silence holds more safety. Trust builds between you, unhurried, deep. You notice how people bloom when seen, how their shoulders rise, how their eyes light again. They notice it in you too. You're no longer dimmed, you're present. Support becomes natural, no longer something asked for, something simply given. You cook meals together, share blankets, walk each other home. This is not dependence. This is belonging. This is how humans are meant to be. The fear of burden fades. Because everyone carries something, and everyone shares the load. You talk about hard things, about grief and burnout, about shame and doubt. The words don't break the room. They build it stronger. They weave another thread. Resilience stops feeling like isolation. It starts feeling like togetherness, like roots intertwined. You see resilience in small acts. A friend showing up tired but still showing up. A message sent at midnight, thinking of you. You see how resilience is built in community, not from toughness, from tenderness. Repeated. You remember when you feared asking for help? Now you see how asking opened all this, how it created space for everyone to breathe. You once thought strength was silence. Now you see strength in shared voices, and shared quiet too. Community does not erase pain, but it softens it. It makes it bearable. You see new people joining, tentative, hopeful. You welcome them gently. Remember how it felt at first, to be received with care? You offer that care freely, without expectation, without keeping score. Some stay, some drift away. The circle shifts but holds. You realize resilience is not rigid. It bends. It adapts.
Your group weathers hard days, setbacks, silence.
But you return to each other again and again. Like tides, there is strength in this rhythm, in not giving up on each other, in staying when it's hard. You are part of something larger now, something living and kind, something that holds you all. The community feels steady now. It's like a quiet heartbeat, always there. You stop hesitating before speaking. You trust the room will hold you, because it always has. When you say, "I need help," no one flinches. They lean in. They listen. Asking no longer feels like weakness. It feels like breathing. Natural. You see others do the same? Asking with soft voices is being met with care. This reshapes something inside you. A belief once carved in fear, now softened by love. You remember the old lesson? You must carry it all alone. You see now how heavy that was. You did not want to teach that weight forward. You want to teach warmth instead. You want to teach reaching out. Community rewrites the story. It whispers, "We carry this together," and you believe it. Strength is no longer solitary. It is shared, is woven. You see how asking gives others permission? How one brave voice opens a door, and many step through. People smile when they say, "I can't do this alone." Not from pride, from relief. The fear of judgment has faded. The old armor lies unused. You do not miss it. There is no ranking here. No one higher or lower. It's only people holding each other up. You start to see help as a gift, both ways. Asking and giving. Each request is an offering of trust. Each response is an offering of care. This is how bonds deepen. You notice how much easier life feels. Not lighter in tasks, lighter in spirit. You wonder why the world taught you otherwise. Why it called this weakness. Why it punished softness. Now you see softness as strength because it connects, because it heals. The group celebrates small asks. Could you sit with me? Would you walk with me to the store? These become normal, every day. Sacred. No one has to break to be cared for. No one has to earn support. You wish you had known this sooner, but you know it now, and you will live it forward. Gently you begin teaching it to younger ones, two friends still hiding their pain. To yourself, on hard mornings, you don't have to be strong all the time. You only have to be real. These words take root. They grow like wildflowers. Quiet, but persistent. Filling the cracks, you watch the group hold someone new. They tremble at first, then they soften. You see yourself in them. The fear, the relief. The cycle continues, not of silence, but of care. Asking becomes tradition, expected, welcomed. You realize this is how humans thrive, not by standing alone, but by leaning gently. You trust this now, deeply, without doubt. You are not weak for needing help. You are human. You are held. This is quiet philosophy, where thinking isn't loud, and life doesn't need to be either. Subscribe if you haven't already, not for noise, but for something you can actually feel.